Good morning, guys. Can you hear me? VSLR. Run is better. VSLR is getting bought out by Run. I would trade Run. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Yeah, it's a decent setup. Maybe a few more days sideways would be nice. I covered GSX and Overstock in pre-market. They are, you know, having they're pretty strong. Some out of those swing shorts. JD had some nice earnings, breaking out of a really good looking flag. It's a slow moving stock, but for me it's perfect. So I bought the starter, 40,000 shares. We'll see how it acts. Riot and Mara, I rebought some on Friday, third size, quarter size. Let's see how these things act. Maybe I'll add more. Since crypto, it just keeps coming back, all these Bitcoin names. NVAX, I'm looking for a 30-day bounce, short setup on that one. Oh my god, Monster, really? What's the ADR on that thing? Come on guys, you know better by now. Candy, yeah, it looked, it had a decent breakout on Friday. Yeah, Tupperware looks good. I like Tupperware. I think it looks like a pretty decent setup. Okay, let's see what we get today. I added to my NVAX short. Also added to CVAC short from pre-market. Oh shit, JD is killing me. I didn't see it went straight down from the open. Gonna use the lows for the day as my stop. I'm selling my INO. The bounce is losing some steam here. Man, that was a hectic open. Jesus. It always gets hectic when I'm trying to short these momentum stocks. There's always so much going on. Oh, JD stopped me out. Fuck. Took an $83,000 loss on it. What a piece of shit. Really? I thought it looked great. This Redwin looks pretty decent. Tesla, I'm still in a third size, haven't sold a single share. This is just painful. It's just so stupid. Again, I'm not gonna sell a single share unless it gets to 2,000. Just too little size to care about it. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's like 50 alerts going off today. Oh my god. Oh, nice. CVAC taking out the lows. For those of you short. Most of you shouldn't short, but those of you who do, that was like a 5-star setup. Yeah, CWH is setting up. Very nice looking setup. Oh, JD back. Oh, fucking shit stock. Hate when this happens. I should have just waited till open. I would have saved myself 83,000 bucks. Yeah, Amazon is a 5-star setup, a very slow moving stock though, but you know, so. No, C's not a good setup. She's a horribly bad setup. Pets is also a shit setup. For those of you who were awake, that Redwin was a good setup 5 minutes ago. JD, I got back in 50,000 shares this time. I had 40,000 shares the first time around. Bought a little bit more shares. This is a really good setup. Slower type of a stock, but this is like a 5-star, and it's gapping up on earnings. That's like my favorite type of combination. Looks like I got stopped out of that NVAX. This thing probably wants to run to mid-high 150s, I think. But if it fails at the 10-day, I'll reshort it. Cruise lines and airlines are they're fading again. That sector rotation didn't last long. I thought they would go this week, but looks like they're fading back from where they came from. CVAC still it's building lower highs intraday and it's staying below VWAP. For now. Overstock looks like it wants to go higher. It's the #1 momentum stock out there probably. Hopefully this thing goes to, I don't know, 150 or something. That would be nice. SHLL. Those of you who were awake last week broke out of a very nice setup. This is like textbook. Big momentum mover. It did have a deep pullback, but what gave it away was it started building higher lows relentlessly and got this really, really tight range, and then it broke out. All you had to do was be awake and stalk that thing. RLF? What do you mean RLF? There is no such thing as RLF. Gatos, if you bought it on Friday, that wasn't a good setup. It wasn't that good of a setup. I mean, it was like 3-star maybe. You know, stick to the best setups. Yeah, let's stick to US stocks. I bought a bunch of Beely. This thing looks nice. Too slow for most of you, but it's been surfing the 50-day. And PDD also, another China name. Just surfing the 50-day. But these things are too slow for most of you, especially Beely. I covered up a little bit of CVAC. Tiny bit. Jesus Christ, there's so many alerts today. Just one of those days. PNTX. Guys, anyone new here? Like, I'm getting these same old questions. Go to my my FAQ page. You'll find it on Twitch. There's a link on it, to it. Before you interact me in any way, just read my FAQ, my about page. Yeah, exactly. It's not long at all. It takes like a couple of minutes to read it through. It's absolutely not very long. Takes like a couple of minutes. Yeah, Tesla, it hurts. Kinda hurts. Never been so pissed off on at a good profit. Well, oh Jesus Christ, Tesla. I mean, this would be in a $500,000 trade by now. No, sorry, it would have been $1 million trade by now if I had full size. But unfortunately, if you know, it had these 2 weekdays before the announcement, and that made the setup a bit tricky. Trading is so easy. Trading is so easy that 99% of people who try become millionaires. Easiest thing in the world. Facts, exactly. Like I promise you guys, those of you who are new to trading, it's gonna be the easiest thing you've ever done. Stop playing. I'm not gonna troll you anymore, guys. I wanted to see who was awake and who wasn't awake. The salt is an intriguing setup. I didn't see it on my scan since it was kind of thin. It's a bit intriguing. And it's a COVID-19 name too. Twitter doesn't want to break out yet, but it also doesn't want to go down. It's still surfing this 20-day, rising 20 and 10-day. It's getting tight. Most of you, you know, it's a very good looking setup. For most of you, it's too thin. ADR is only 3.3, but I'm just illustrating like what a good setup looks like. It's just Amazon too. This thing just relentlessly builds higher lows. It's a big momentum stock. It just refuses to go down. It's surfing the 20-day. And it's getting tighter and tighter. This is what you want to see in a setup. A big momentum stock that, you know, goes sideways, finds support on the rising 10, 20-day moving averages, and then, you know, gets tighter and tighter. But Amazon is also a very low ADR stock. VIX is a bit similar, not as clean of a setup, but... Oh, CVAC! I'm covering some here. Nice, 200k so far. Let's see if this thing can go to sub 65. That would be nice. Microsoft, nah, not as good as Amazon, in my opinion. GRWG, what's that? Yeah, yep. They had an earnings breakout last week. I passed on it. It was very thin, like. But yeah, these are the types that can, you know, double, triple, quadruple. If you get in at the right time. But you know, in a couple of weeks there may be a setup on it. Of course, all the time. You gotta build that conviction. That's why you need to study setups. You need to spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours studying setups from the past. That's how you build conviction. Roku? Yeah, Roku is losing momentum. I was excited about this stock like a couple of weeks ago, and now it's just meh. There's just no demand for the stock after the earnings. You want stocks that have demand. You want to be in stocks that have big demand. This thing doesn't look to have any big demand. Kandi, nice follow through from Friday late day breakout. It's not an obvious setup. Like, it would have been better if it closed a bit stronger, but that, you know, it was a pretty decent setup. Big momentum stock, pulled back, went sideways, started surfing the 10-day, took out this couple of day range, and it would have been better if this day here had been a bit tighter, but you know, it was a good setup for those of you who correctly identified it. You think or swing down? HL? No. It's just another, it's a silver stock. I'd rather do, if you want to trade the silver related stuff, I'd rather trade HEQ or SIL. Or not SIL, HEQ. That's a triple silver ETF. But it needs a setup. It needs a setup. This HL is, it doesn't move as well as the ETF. Yeah, SVM, same thing. You're better with, oh, SVM, yeah, this one looks good actually. It looked it looked better on Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday it had a nice look, but it could work. It's a hot sector, you know, it could work. Silver is really hot right now. Pinterest looking could be better. Holy shit, this CVAC. I've covered up about 25% of this thing so far. I think this thing could go to sub 65, sub 60, maybe even. This was a really good setup. This thing priced at 15 bucks on Friday, or 16 bucks. I went to 86 today. That's just insane. That's pretty nice. Yeah, Workhorse looks like shit. It really does. They were still waiting for that USPS news, but it's just a big pump shop. I don't think they will get any of that contract. Maybe they will. I just don't think they will. I don't know. It's too hard. Some stocks are just too hard. CWH, why would this thing be a short? This is a really good long setup. I mentioned this thing several times. I even mentioned it earlier today as a long setup. Why would this thing be a good short? There's absolutely nothing in this thing I look at as a short. Let's see if this CVAC bounces back to VWAP. I'm gonna look for more setups on it later, maybe in a couple of hours. Now workhorse is starting to break down. Square is relentlessly just going higher. Baba looks good too. They reported in a few days. It's just a very slow moving stock, but it is setting up. I may trade it, like if it goes sideways into earnings and then breaks out on earnings. Like the China leaders they're all looking really good. Like Baba, JD, PDD, Beely, they're just all, they're all very strong momentum names. Question is, are they gonna have follow through? But that's the eternal question when swing trading. Is it gonna have follow through? And JD's fading again. That's just great. SPAC. Yeah, it does look like SHLL like 3 days ago. It looks pretty decent. Building relentlessly higher lows at the 50-day and had a very tight range on Friday. It looks exactly like HSLL, or not exactly, but very, very similar. And wait, is it the same sector too? This is EV, and SHLL is, yeah, they're both EV names. Same sector too. Nice. Yeah, Fisker, EV. Space. Absolute garbage setup. Guys, those of you new here, you need to read my About Me page, okay? And then you need to look at all the swing trading school videos on YouTube. All the videos that are tagged with the swing trading school at the end. I probably need to make a playlist with those. Because if you want to make it in this game, you need an edge. And I just see people mentioning just a random stocks, you know, it just, like, where's your edge? You're just gonna be another statistic, you know. 99% of people in this business, they don't make it. And the shorter your time frames, the less your success rate. So you really need an edge to avoid being one of the 99%. And to have an edge, you need to study. You need to study setups. You need to study how stocks move. David, your edge is using Thinkorswim. Oh, someone already made a playlist with my videos. You can do that. You can make a playlist with other people's videos. I didn't know that. That's cool. No, there's been a bunch of setups that had good follow through. But yeah, it's not the same market we had back in March, or like second half of March, April, May, June. It definitely is not. You know, you really gotta just take the 5-star ones, you know. What about Kandi? This thing broke out on Friday, just a follow-through move. Just a follow-through move. OSB on Friday? Why do you trade it on Friday? It's breaking out today, but kind of low ADR. Yeah, yeah, this school is for real. Oh, lumber prices? OSB, okay. It does have good momentum. Also had a pretty decent setup back here. And a okay setup back here. Interesting. Oh, Beely, come on. It's been building nice higher lows, but you know, it just can't follow through. This IGV, which is SaaS or like software ETF. I mean, this thing is setting up in a big bull flag right now. It's been building relentless higher lows. It's been surfing the 20-day for many months. Now it's surfing the 50-day, and it's just, you know, building a big flag here, getting tighter and tighter. This thing looks like it wants to go like 350 or something if it breaks out. Ideally, it goes sideways a bit. What happened now? Oh, I got stopped out of a partial of Riot. Okay. Back to half size on it, I guess. Anyways, IGV. Ideally, we get another like 3-5 days of sideways, so the 50 they can catch up a little bit more and get a bit tighter short. And you know, this thing launches of this base, you know, it could very easily go to like low mid 300s. Why not? That means a lot of the software names are gonna make big moves. BCLI. It looks okay. It looks okay. It's a COVID name, right? I don't know what it is. It looks okay. I don't know. Maybe 4 star. 3.5 star maybe. Nah, it's actually a 4 star. It looks pretty decent. Building higher lows. Has a range here. A big linear momentum stock. I like it when they're this linear. You know, look at how clean it is. Just keep surfing the 10-day, pulled back, bounced above the 50-day, didn't even hit the 50-day. Now it's been building higher lows relentlessly. That's you know, I think it's a good setup. MTH. Maybe. It's a very kind of shoppy stock. ENTG. Low ADR. I mean, the setup is decent, you know, if it breaks out over the next few days, but low ADR. You shouldn't be trading these things. In my opinion. Zsan. I mean, where's the setup here? It's just a random stock. I mean, what is this? Go look at my swing trading school. You know, this is just a random ticker. If you want to make money in the stock market, you need to get the randomness out of it. There's always going to be random stocks doing random moves. You want something predictable, something that works over and over and over again. That's how you make big money. That's how you become the 1 or 2 or 3% to actually make it in this business instead of being another statistic. CHEG, big education stock. I don't know how big they are, but yeah, it's an education stock. Damn, this thing. Too bad I got stopped out of this thing. This thing had a nice earnings breakout back in early May. It kind of stopped me out in early June or mid-June. There's a lot of stocks setting up for this week. A lot of names are starting to look pretty decent. They just need another 1 or 2 days, ideally. No, I didn't enter Tupperware. It's too thin for me to trade. I can't trade that stock. It's just too illiquid. I don't even have it in my scans, but I know a lot of you have mentioned it, and I thought it was a good setup. Is it breaking out? I guess it is. Tried to break out at least. Now it's fading, but you know, it's still a valid setup. Like it hasn't stopped you out unless it stops you out. Holy shit! CVAC, need to cover some more here. What a beast of a trade. Almost 300k on it. That was nice. Wish I'd done a little bit more size though. Or actually I almost did full size. BLDP in May. You mean, wait, what? May? What are we looking at? I'm not adding to cheap ETs. I have full size. This thing it's too illiquid. Like I already have almost 60,000 shares. I've sold very little. I bought it on this day here, and you know, I can't do more size. It's just too illiquid for that. I would love to have 150,000 shares of this thing, but it's just too illiquid. But yeah, BLDP had this was a 5-star setup. BLDP had a 5-star setup back in June. This is a 5-star setup. We traded it. This is the type of, if you master this setup, you're gonna make many millions. Many millions. And only you decide what the limit is. Your own ability decides what the limit is. The great traders will make tens or hundreds of millions. The good traders will make millions, maybe tens of millions, and the shit traders will not make no money because they haven't studied the setups that work in the markets. Carvana, possible short, I don't know. No, not. I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, can it pull back? Sure, but I don't know. VXRT. Yeah, it's trying again. Yeah, it's been building relentlessly higher lows. It could be a setup. Could be. Could. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Maybe 3.5 stars. You know, it could work. It's a hot sector, COVID-19, and you know, it made a big move, pulled back, and now it's been basing with higher lows. I mean, it could work. It could work. But not really like a super exciting. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tesla is speeding up now. Oh, I can't. It never gave me an opportunity to add. I really wanted a little bit of a pullback so I could double, triple my position, but nope. Instead, I'm sitting in this shady that's not going up. Come on, shady. Yeah, that's true. The best names don't ever pull back. Anytime you buy a pullback, or sorry, a breakout, and it pulls back, you know, it's, you know, that's why I usually don't buy pullbacks, because the best stocks don't pull back. That's why I'm not a pullback buyer. I'm a breakout trader. Because the best stocks, you know, once they break out, they're not gonna let you they're not gonna let you in. Pull back in the best stocks. Well, there are pullback setups, obviously, but I still buy breakouts out of pullbacks. I don't just buy a pullback. I want a breakout out of a pullback. CBay, I'm in from breakout. Is that a setup you would take today? Nah, I wouldn't have taken this setup. Yeah, I do use like 1 and 5 minute chart sometimes. Mostly when I'm shorting momentum stocks, because I want a little bit higher resolution. Like CVAC, I'm looking at on another screen. I have this. I'm looking at on the 1 and 5 minute charts. BGNE. BGNE is a very good setup. Yeah, ADR is too low, but this is a very good setup. Very good job, man. This is a great setup. This is like a 4.5 star setup. Like if the ADR had been higher, but you know, look, it's a good setup. Has a big clean move, just being surfing the 10 and 20 day, pulls back, goes sideways a bit, and gets tighter and tighter, right? And now it's been surfing above the 50 day, and now it's breaking out of this range. This is a very good setup. Yeah, I covered overstock pre-market. I saw the upgrade, and this thing gapped up over this 97.50 range, which was the high over these 2 days. So I covered it pre-market. At GSX I covered too. Now GSX is, god damn it, it's down. I covered this thing like like around the, like in 93.50, 94 area pre-market. And now, yeah, this thing went straight down from my cover, and Overstock is straight up since my cover. But the key is, you know, you get stopped out, you get stopped out. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it. You can make it a while, but you're gonna blow up eventually. Damn, this nugget and stuff gave another. Oh shit! I should have bought. Oh fuck. These gold ETFs having some good setups. SE in late April. Late April? Yeah, that's where we bought it. No, late April, you mean early May. Oh wait, breakout. Wait, what? Pullback, it never pulled back to the 20-day. It surfed above it, but this is where I bought it. In early May, when it broke out here. It was a big trade. And then I traded it with a 20-day moving average. I got stopped out. Where did I get stopped out? I think I got stopped out on this day here, or somewhere here in this area. It was a big move. Over 100%. That's why you use trailing stops. Now and then you're gonna catch a monster, and those are the ones that are gonna make you the real money. Like I advise you guys use the 10-day moving average on the higher ADR stocks, but I usually use the 20, both the combination of 10 and 20, because I trade a lot of the a lot of slower moving names too. So you gotta use a slower moving average. This Spotify is setting up. It made a big move, surfed the 10 and 20-day, pulled back, went sideways, and now it's building, it's surfing the 50-day. It's a slower stock, but like this is the type of setup I'm looking for all the time, and it's getting tighter and tighter. Lows of the day. It's my stock. Oh, JD, is it gonna stop me out again? Oh, I'm gonna lose like 200k on it if this thing stops me out again. Fucking piece of shit China stock. Come on, go up. I bought it a little bit too aggressively pre-market. Like, if I just waited out of the gate, if I had waited till it open, I wouldn't have had that first initial loss, because it went straight down from the open. Yeah, that's the problem with these big stocks. They're a little bit choppy. They're a bit choppier. The lower ADR stocks tend to be choppier. And they, you know, the bigger the market cap, the choppier they are. Let's just look for potential setups for later this week. The things that only need a few more days to have good setups, like QDEL, big momentum stock, good earnings too. Found support on the 50-day, and now it's surfing the 50-day. In a couple of days, if you can go sideways here, build more higher lows, could be a very good setup. Roku is broken for now. SCDG, Doyu, this thing looks really, really good. Too thin for me to trade, but this thing looks pretty incredible. This is setting up as a, like right now it may be a 4-star setup, but if you can go sideways a bit more, it's gonna be a 5-star setup. Twitter, this is like a 4-star setup, 4.5-star setup. Slower name, but still good for me. Pinterest, it's kind of failing now. But if it doesn't like fail and sets up, it could be a good setup coming days. CS, maybe if it can keep going sideways a bit more. It's again a Shopee stock, so actually no, never mind. Fastly, it's still building higher lows at around the 50-day. Maybe in a few days. Viva, maybe in a couple of days. It's getting tighter and tighter. Spotify, this one is also getting tighter and tighter, building higher lows of the 50-day here. Net, also building higher lows. Maybe in a few days if it tightens up a bit. Etsy, yeah, also in a few days. It's a little bit more sideways in my opinion. This thing looks broken. This no. Maybe this one too. It's kind of building higher lows, and has a range here. Chewy, starting to set up. This W, this is I'm long this thing, but again, this thing it's building another flag. Maybe later this week there could be a setup on it to add. AMD could be a setup in later this week if it keeps going sideways and the 20-day can catch up. VIX getting tighter and tighter. This one I'm watching closely. EBS building a potential high tide flag if it can go sideways a bit more. Twilio looks pretty decent. HCMP can go sideways a bit more. Shopify is building higher lows. There's, many of these look pretty much the same. You gotta pick the ones with the highest ADR, pretty much. I have a lot of stocks with lower ADR because I have no choice to the size. This TDOC looks like it found support on the rising 100-day. Now it's kind of building higher lows. Something I will personally watch later this week. Livongo building higher lows. TDOC, these two are obviously connected since TDOC is buying Livongo. This one surfing the 50-day. I think it goes sideways, tighten up a little bit more. Could be a 5-star setup in a couple of days. GDCL. Guys, why are you giving me tickers that don't exist? Don't give me any foreign stocks. I can't see them. RDFN. It still looks good. Just, you know, pulling back a little bit. LL. Wow. Okay. Sure. Yeah. If you got it early, like if you got it sub 24, or preferably, you know, like in the mid 23s. It's not a buy here, but yeah, it's a pretty decent looking one. It had an even better setup back here when it broke out here. And this is the key thing with the good setups. They keep surfing these 10, 20-day moving averages. Sometimes they have higher lows, sometimes they don't. Like in this case, it didn't have higher lows. It was in kind of a channel. But many times what I look for is higher lows. And getting tighter and tighter. Like this is how, you know, this is how stocks move. They move in. It looked like a stair, right? You have a step higher, sideways. 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 And your job is to anticipate, or not anticipate. Your job is to buy at the exact moment when the next step higher is forming. And this is why you need to study thousands of stocks over going back decades. You know, the stocks move the same way as today as they did 100 years ago. You just need to learn the patterns. That's it. That's your job. Do I short at all? I short all the time. I shorted CVAC today. I covered Overstock and GSX pre-market today. So yes, HL, you know, Neo, HL is shit. I already went through it. It looks like shit. If you want to trade silver, you know, I would do it via HEQ. But you need to wait for a setup. Do you notice differences in price? Yeah, absolutely. Shorting is a wholly different game. Shorting takes a completely different mindset. And it's mathematically completely different. I wouldn't recommend any of you guys to short. You probably should focus on making your first couple of million before you try shorting. If you have a large account, how big is a large account? I don't know how big a large account is. But also, like, the key is, like, you should never, you don't want to be more than 1% of the average daily volume. Like, I have an exponential 22-day moving average on volume just to see the average volume. I don't want to be more than 1%. For example, VIX has the average volume 1 million shares. Okay. How much is 10%? Sorry, 1% of that? That's 10,000 shares. So, you know, I wouldn't want to buy more than 10,000 shares of this thing, because if I have to buy, if I buy it and I get stopped out the same day, I'm gonna be 2% of the volume. Okay, and if that happens to be a below average volume day, I could be 3, 4, 5% of the stock's volume that day. Worst case scenario. That's also something you have to, like, account for. So you don't want to, you know, as your accounts grow, you should increase the liquidity constraints. Like I use 80 million, it's too low. I probably should increase it to more, to like 100, 120 million. But I still, you know, but my tradable universe will get too small, so I'm gonna still, you know, I'm still using 80 million. I'll get the little bit liquid stocks for me, but you know, sometimes I trade them anyway if the setup is good. But let's just say, just do this, like take your account size times 50, okay? To get the volume you should use in your scans, the volume cutoff. Let's look at the biggest 1 month gainers, for example. Like I use 80 million. So if you have, say, $100,000 account, 50 times that, that's what? 5 million, right? And you know, actually, I think everyone should use like 5 million as their cutoff, at least, because you're gonna get a lot of piece of shit chunk stocks, and preferably use even 10 million. But you know, once you get to like, you know, as your accounts grow, you know, let's say you get your account to 1 million, then you should have a $50 million cutoff. Oh wait, times 50, that's actually a little bit too much. Let's just say times 30 or something. I don't know, I'm not good at math. You'll figure it out. It's not rocket science, you'll figure it out. You'll start noticing when your volume criteria is a bit too low. You're gonna start getting big slippage, and you're gonna, you know, having a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time getting in and out of stocks without moving the price. That's the time that's when you increase the volume criteria in your scans. All right, I'm gonna do one more scan. Oh, JD, come on, chunk. Worst video game ever. Which one? Elite Hobo. Why does it say paper practice at the top? Because I'm paper trading and you haven't read my about page. Let's see here. How do you feel about buying a small position at the bottom of the range on a stock you have conviction will break out? I never buy at the bottom of a range. I buy breakouts. Kumu? I know it's being pumped as a quantum computing. But yeah, holy fuck, this is a good setup. No, wait, this is not the quantum computing stock. This is something else. But yeah, this is a good setup. Wow, this is a 5-star setup. It's up too much. It's not a buy here, obviously. Like the average daily range is 5.9%. So you could buy it up to like say 529 or something, high 520s. That, you know, no higher than that was the entry. But yeah, it's a good setup. But this thing shouldn't be in anyone's scans. It's too liquid. Like, don't, you know, like you should have like at least a $5 million cutoff in your scans. But it's a good setup. Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, like, a stock doesn't have to go up, but when you have like a parabolic move, and especially if you know it's a pure pump job, which most of these stocks are, you know, the parabolic shorts I do, like they're gonna come down eventually. But the question is how much are they gonna go higher first? That's why you need to develop a specific setup. Otherwise, you're gonna blow up very fast. But they always come down, you know, 70, 90% eventually. Yeah, in TC2000, like in the scans, I don't know why they have it done this way, but it's kind of annoying. But it says 800,000 here. It means 80 million. I don't know why you have to use fewer zeros. Can you do me a favor? Call Thinkorswim and tell them to fuck off. Well, David, hey, I mean, technically, they already kind of fucked off since the platform is down. That's like literally the definition of fucking off, right? Like, it's not like the platform can go down more than it already is, right? You call them up and you're like, oh, hey, you guys, fuck off. They're like, hey, we already fucked off. Oh, only your paper trading account is down, David? Well, then it's not too bad. Yes, I usually put my stop at the low of the day when I buy a breakout. Run failed breakout. Well, it wasn't that great of a setup to begin with, but yeah, it looks like a failed breakout for now. Why arithmetic charts versus logarithmic charts? Because I prefer arithmetic charts. I never use logarithmic charts. Very, very rarely. Alright, CVAC is almost back to VWAP. Oh, it rhymes. CVAC is almost back to VWAP. Or actually this back to VWAP, depending on what time frame. Or depending on if you use the... if you include the pre-market data or not. If you don't include the pre-market data, it's back at VWAP. I'm thinking about shorting it, or adding more to my short. I've covered up like a third so far into weakness, but you know, thinking about adding. Or failed breakouts. Well, if the breakout closes really, really weak, like it closes, like it's very close stopping you out, I think you should sell it. Like there's no point in sitting in a stock that, you know, didn't go on the breakout. Why not stop at below VWAP? A breakout that works should not go below VWAP on breakout day. Are you sure about that? Are you 100% sure about that? Have you studied tens of thousands of setups going back 100 years? Because I am pretty sure they can go below VWAP and still be a very good setup that works. What's this? GS and oh, you mean like back in early August? Yeah, that was a pretty decent setup. If that's the 50-day moving average, it bounced off. I guess that is the purple line. Yeah, Walletstam, it's a pretty good. That's actually a really good setup. That's like a 5-star setup. It keeps surfing the 10 and 20, pulls back, goes sideways, undercuts the 50-day, reclaims and builds higher lows, and then it has a breakout. That's a very good setup. Yep. That's what a good setup looks like. Where do you find stock charts? Well, you can go to TradingView. For example, look at the daily charts. You can just, there are books like How to Make Money in Stocks, by William O'Neill. There's a lot of charts there from like 100 years ago. And then you can just look in TC2000. You pull up the US stocks, look at the monthly time frame, and it just go through all the 5,500 stocks or how many there are. Go back and look at every big move, put them in a different watch list, and then you go to, like, for example, TradingView, or you can pay for eSignal. Man, I misspelled Buffett. Who the hell misspells Buffett? Jesus Christ. And then you look at the daily setups. TC2000 version 7. Yeah, it does. I don't know why TC2000, why you can't go back more than 5 years. It's kind of stupid. Those guys need to get their shit together. When you free site like TradingView, you can go back like decades on the daily chart. Like, for example, let's look at something like, I don't know, General Electric. Something, stock that has been around for over 100 years. Let's see how far back you can go on the daily chart. Wait, what? No more than this? Oh, never mind. Okay, here. Look at this thing. You can go back to the 60s when it was like an OTC stock. Look at this. They only had the closing price for the stock. They didn't have the opening price or high or low. Go back to the 60s. Why can't I do this in TC2000? Look how easy. You can just scroll it. It's like, this is for free. This site is for free. It's just so stupid. What's another long time? Like, is it T? Telephone company? Oh, this was only 80, back to 84. What's another law? Like, I don't know. Ford, yeah, Ford. Yeah, back to 60, again, like 68. That's where they have the data. But the funny thing is, in TC2000, you can actually, on the like weekly, or not weekly, like monthly and quarterly chart, you can go back and see data like to the like 80s, mid 80s. But you can't go back that far with a daily chart because they only show, I think, 5,000. No, how many bars do they show? Is it like 1,000 bars? or something like that. It's kind of stupid. 1500, yeah, 1500, I think too. IBM, yeah, look, they have the monthly, you know, the monthly chart. This is quarterly chart, back to the early 60s. I don't know, it's kind of weird. All the new people, you need to read my about page ASAP. It's in my bio on Twitter. That's the first thing you need to do. And then you need to head over to my YouTube and watch my swing trading school. Best stock scanner, TC2000. Why won't TC carry forward? I don't know what carry forward means. I know you can see the data, but I don't know what it means. What do you mean by carry forward? Like, you can enable it. On some charts I have it enabled, on some not. Like, that's why I have these different, the 1 hour, 5 minute and 1 minute charts here, because for some the pre-market after hours is enabled, for some it's not. Yeah, trade ideas is good, but trade ideas is like you can't chart it, you can't build watch lists, you can't do any of that. Exactly, like scanning, like everyone has a good scanner nowadays. It's just a basic thing. Like what you need, you like, most of you don't need more scanners. What you need is a setup. Like, scanners are not gonna make you millions. Setups are. I think TC2000 is the best package. Like scanning, watch list management, shorting, all of those things. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it depends what you trade, obviously. How much time you spend scanning? 5 minutes? Like, I scan like all day intraday. I run my scans like once per hour. And then usually, you know, after the close or before the market opens, I also run my scans, build my watch lists. CVEC going to 80 next. Yeah, if it can reclaim VWAP. Right now it looks like it's failing at VWAP. But if it can reclaim VWAP, absolutely, this thing could go to 500. Well, I mean, like, every day is a swing trading school. Like, I go through good setups every day, but but not like a specific 30-minute or an hour-long session like I did last week several times. Clovis. Do you use TraderView? No, I don't. Candy keeps having nice follow through from that Friday breakout. Back in Shady? Yeah, I bought back Shady a long time ago. Carvana is bouncing perfectly off the 10-day moving average. That's a sign of strength. When are you going to shed light on a new setup for us? I'm not. People are still struggling with this setup. There's no need to go through another setup until people, you know. You don't need a new setup. Like, guys, you don't need a new shiny thing. Like, you just need to master one setup. This is like the easiest setup, or not easy, but it's a very simple setup. Like, if you master it, you're gonna make tens of millions. You don't need to chase the next new thing. You don't need a new scanner. You don't need a new this. You don't need a new that. You need some very basic tools and some hard work and persistence. That's what you need. You need more than tens of millions? Well, you know, you first need to get to 10 million. Then you can learn a new setup. Yes, it's a basic breakout setup. It's a very basic breakout setup. SDNE. Yeah, it's setting up. It's setting up. Like, this thing had a really good breakout here. This is like a 5-star, or maybe, you know, like 4.5-star breakout. And then it's setting up again. You know, in a couple of days, like if it can go sideways here so that 20-day can catch up, yeah, it looks good. Wait, what is this? Enters the combination agreement. So they're combining with another company. I don't know, if it's good or bad. It doesn't matter. Like, it looks good. It looks good. That's a good setup. You're gonna be a millionaire. MERP 1964 is gonna make many millions. CWH is a good setup too. Yeah. Oh, it's breaking out. Yeah, it's a good setup. Sohu. Yeah. If a 20-day catches up, maybe in a couple of days, could be a good setup. KC. Could work. Like, it's been building higher lows, but I don't know. It feels kind of choppy. It's a recent IPO though. These things can be pretty powerful. I don't. It may be set up. Like, maybe, I don't know. It's already up quite a bit. I don't think it was a very clean setup. I usually try to trade like clean setups. Some they're just too tough. Let's see if this CVAC can reclaim VWAP. Yeah, W is setting up. No, they're all matted manually. Calx. Yeah, it's setting up. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one. I like this one. This is like a 5-star setup in the making. This thing looks great. Very good setup. This is exactly what you should be looking for. Don't just show your P&L for like 1 to 2 weeks. What does that mean? Kumu? 512. You bought it 512? That's great. That's a great entry. You were awake. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. But the lack of volume since the first 15 minutes. Look, these thin stocks. Like this is the problem with these thin stocks. Some chat room or guy or Twitter pumps this thing. Then a bunch of degenerates buy it, right? That's what creates the volume. And you know, this is why I want you guys to have like a 5, at least a 5, but preferably like a $10 million cutoff on your scans. Like the setup is very good. It's a really good setup. It's a 5-star setup. But realize this volume here is just because someone pumped it, probably, right? But it doesn't matter. Like, you know, this is a thin stock generally. It only trades like 100,000 shares on average. That's why the lack of volume, like, you know. But it's not concerning. It's normal for this stock because, you know, it is a thin stock. It's always very liquid and thin. Lack of volume. AXP. Do I even need to look at AXP? It's a very low ADR, and there's no setup there. What about when you start seeing the setup for failing after like 10 days? You mean it's starting to fade the 10-day moving average or after 10 days? I don't know. I just don't see anything on this thing. It's just a random slow-moving stock. Minervini bought Kumu this morning? Of course he did. There's something wrong, man. The guy has supposedly made probably tens of millions, if you know, if not hundreds, and he's pumping these illiquid stocks. I just, something is very wrong. Okay, CVAC. Let's see here. It's still not at VWAP if you include the pre-market data, or it's actually right at VWAP. So we'll see. If it fails, I'll add more, and if it reclaims VWAP, I'll cover. How do I use my back watch list? I just track breakouts. This is how you know, build these patterns in your brain. You just, you know, put these good breakouts in a watch list, and then you track them for a period. I track them for a month because I date sort them. Okay, JD is starting to shape up. That's a good thing, at least. Then I go back and look at what the stock did after their breakouts. That's how you get good at you know, setups. You track the setups you like to trade, like you trade. Like I have 3 different setups, and you know, when I see a good setup trigger, I don't take most of these. Like I pass on like 99% of the trades. I just want to take the best ones. But the ones that look good, I track them. The ones that look remotely good. That's how you learn what works in the markets and what doesn't. Yeah, Chumia, 20th of July. Bought this 5-star setup. One of my better percentage movers in a while. Went up almost 200% from entry in like 2-3 weeks. Mara on the hourly. I'm tracking this thing. If it can go sideways another couple of days would be great. What price will be good breakout for ST and NI? What price? I mean, you know, let's say it goes sideways, you know, if it breaks out tomorrow, like as soon as it starts taking out this range. It's not a specific price, it's more of an area. I usually buy when they just start breaking out of their ranges. I never anticipate, like it's a waste of time. You anticipate a breakout, you know, you have no idea if it's gonna break out or when it's gonna break out. It's just a waste of time. You gotta buy it just when it starts breaking. Sometimes, you know, I may be a bit too early and I get stopped out because it, you know, but I just usually wait. Week of consolidation? Not necessarily. It depends on the quality of the setup. Someone mentioned BGNE before. Yeah, it's a great setup. Following through also. But they're a little bit too slow of stock though. Spotify starting to break a little bit here. AM. Not gas them. Nah, I don't really see a good set. Commodity names are, you know, a bit tough in my opinion. Generally. Yeah, there's no setup on it. There's no setup on it. Do I ever use buy stop market orders to enter the range above the range and to get you into the long position from flat? From flat from where? Like all my stop orders are market orders. What do you mean? Above the range from flat? I don't really understand the question. Flat is in, yeah, I mean I use stop orders all the time. Yeah. Both buy and sell stops. I use them all the time. What are you planning on doing with your profits? Are you a spender or a saver? Well, my biggest expense is taxes, and it's not even close. And yeah, I spend money. Like I bought like a 180k car, but it's just, you know, it's just a small, tiny part of my finances. You know, that purchase would break most people, but you know, so I mean, I do spend money like in absolute terms, but in relative terms, I really don't spend a lot of money. Like in relative to how much I could. So I mean, yeah. I'm gonna marry Brandy Love, yeah. What was the car? It's just a BMW X5M. I can show it to you guys. Where is it? This is the video from the dealership. I took it from my Instagram. It's the uncovering. It's not every day you buy your dream car, you know? Stolen? Yeah. No, it's my old one that got the wheels stolen. Build passive income? There's no such thing as passive income. You still have to work for it. Bitcoin? Exactly. Yes. That's the point, newbie trader. That's exactly the point. It's all about cutting the noise. It's very easy to get caught up in all the politics and macroeconomics and this and that and blah blah blah. All you have to do is listen to the market, listen to the stocks. That's all you need to do. And you will be ahead of every single professional and pundit and all of these people who trade on opinions. And like I always say, like, your opinion is shit. Your opinion on the stock market is worth less than a dog shit on the ground, and that includes me. Exactly. Price pays, opinions are shit. Full screen on what? Well, actually, she actually writes in her Twitter profile that she's the great grandchildren of Jesse Livermore. Stamp. Yeah, maybe later this week. TSM is a really good setup. It's a very slow stock, but this is like a 5-star setup. I'm not trading it. It's you know, it looks good, but I'm in a bunch of other stuff already. Square, I guess, you know, I don't know, like, is it gonna have follow through? Like, I would have preferred a bit more sideways. JD, wow, awesome. Let's go. This is my biggest position right now. I have 50,000 shares. Let's go. Let's get this thing to 80 bucks. 90 bucks. Okay, CVAC looks like it's fading at VWAP, or failing at VWAP for now. We'll see. Mara. Yeah, they're starting to move. You know what? I'm gonna cut the stream. Need to do some other stuff. Thanks for joining, and see you tomorrow. Tiger. No, Tiger had a specific setup here. There's no ad spot on this thing. Yeah, thanks guys. See you tomorrow.